It's Alicia Kramer, and in this week's Mentor Minutes, we're going to talk about aligning with your perfect solution. Let's start with a couple of fundamentals here. If you're stuck in a problem, you are not in a receptive state to receiving the inner guidance or the external support to get you into solution mode. So we have to shift our mindset away from being problem focused and into being solution focused. I want to talk for a moment about the aspiration of aligning with a win-win solution. Sometimes when we are looking for a solution, it feels very one-sided. It feels like we are just looking at self-preservation, our own survival. We're coming from a very self-centric focus. And sometimes that is logical. Perhaps it doesn't directly involve another person, but in many cases, our problems do involve other people. And what we have to be aware of is, are we operating from scarcity and fear, or are we operating from abundance and love? The old model of business was all about crushing your competition. It was very, very self-centered. It was me versus you. It was either the customer is always right, which means I am always wrong, or I am right and you are wrong. One of us is going to win and one of us is going to lose. And therefore, I am going to do everything in my power to make sure I'm the winner. That is a shitty energy, and it does not fit within the model of a more conscious entrepreneur. When we are elevating ourselves into an abundance mindset, we recognize that what we need and desire is provided when we are a mental, emotional, vibrational match to it. So if you're coming from scarcity, guess what? You're not a vibrational match to a happy outcome. You might win and the other person might lose, but that comes with a yucky sort of low vibrational energy, especially if we're talking about business partners or clients or customers, or a relationship that you have with employees or even your own family. Do you really want that type of energy dynamic in your life and in your business? If you're listening to this, more than likely the answer to that is no, because if you're coming from that old perspective, you're probably not listening to someone like me. You don't like me, right? Because I'm too nice or too fluffy or whatever. But let's talk here really practically and pragmatically. If you really do want to feel congruent within yourself, if you consider yourself to be a heart-centered, good, honest person with integrity, then certain choices that you're making out of scarcity or fear don't feel right and good to you. That's a problem, because now as you're moving forward in your day, in your life, you're dragging that lower vibrational energy with you. It might be a nagging feeling of guilt, or just something feels off. Something doesn't feel quite right to you. And that is unproductive. It's sort of dirty energy. And we want to be operating our life and our business from that higher vibrational, clean energy place. And that's why I have certain principles in my business where I'm willing to let people out of certain agreements if it doesn't feel right. But you have to, of course, find your right way. You've got to operate within parameters that feel like they're in integrity with you. And of course, they feel like you have proper boundaries. But when you become so rigid that you're not hearing or feeling or trusting your own inner guidance on something, that becomes an issue. That is where what once was a beneficial thing becomes a non-beneficial thing. Once was empowering now becomes disempowering. And so we just have to be mindful of those things. So what is a real win-win solution, and how do we get there? First and foremost, you recognize, you become aware. Talk about this in my book, Energetic Alignment. The first step is awareness. When you feel that something feels off to you, give that some attention. Look at it. What are your beliefs? And notice that in many cases, you'll be able to see very clearly when you're coming from limiting beliefs, when you're coming from fear-based beliefs, when you're coming from scarcity. That's your opportunity to do your shifting work, to release on those feelings, to look honestly and objectively at your beliefs, at your fears. See them for what they really are. They're illusions. This is an abundant universe. Look around. There is no shortage of abundance. And even if you've been operating with some scarcity in the past, there still has been evidence where the universe has snuck in blessings and abundance in your life. So we need to start to shift those old paradigms. It is not serving you. In fact, that energy is exactly the energy that creates these types of financial issues and these problems and these discrepancies or whatever it may be, right? However, it's showing up as an obstacle in your life. So now you have the opportunity to shift that pattern. This is the time to clean house, to clean up those old fear-based, self-imposed limitations. So we do that by releasing, which of course we go through in a lot of the videos that I put out. I teach it in Energetic Alignment. You're going to find all different types of modalities that can help you to release those lower vibrational thoughts and feelings. Things like EFT, release technique. Obviously, I teach both of those and some other different processes, but it is time to clean it out. Then we have to shift to, what do I want to replace that with? How do I want to reprogram my mind? If I don't want to be operating from scarcity, because one, it doesn't feel good to be at odds with my clients or my customers or my employees or my family or whoever. And it doesn't serve me to be carrying this old mental pattern into my future and keep creating more of this same crap. So now what do I want to replace that with? Well, I would prefer to feel so abundant, to be so abundant in my life that I can easily resolve this situation. I would prefer to be in a state of knowing and trusting that there is a win-win solution. What does that feel like? So if you're at odds with someone, knowing that in their heart, they're desiring a positive outcome, knowing that in your heart, you're desiring a positive outcome. On some level, there is a harmony between both of your desires. If you remove the details, if you remove the specifics, meaning they think that the solution has to be this way, I think the solution has to be this way. If we let go of that and we just reach for the essence of what you both want. You both want to feel good. You both want to feel empowered. You both want to feel like you're in integrity and congruent with yourself. So now, what does that feel like? We're reaching for the essence of it. When we are able to show the mind that something else better is possible than feeling like we have to dominate over someone else in order for our sense of security, the mind is happy in many cases to release that lower vibrational belief because that's had us in conflict. And the mind is so confused, trying to figure it out, trying to figure it out, trying to figure it out. And there's no answers in there because the solution is not vibrationally compatible with the vibration of the problem. They're at opposite ends of the vibrational spectrum. So when you're stuck in the problem, you're not a vibrational match to the solution. What we want to do is we want to release our fear, let go of our attachment to the scarcity or the insecurity or whatever it is that we're trying to overcompensate for, and reach for the vibrational essence of the solution. What does it feel like when this all works out and everyone feels good about it? Now, notice we have not figured out what the solution is yet because we're not quite ready yet. But when we take that vibrational leap from being in the vibration of the problem to now being in the vibration of the solution, well, not only do we feel better, which is fantastic in and of itself, but now we're receptive to the new idea, or the other person may actually say, hey, you know what? I've been thinking about this, and here is what I think we should do. And lo and behold, now you're both in that vibrational vicinity of a win-win solution. So try it out. Whatever challenge you've been sort of wrestling with, wherever you've been at odds with another person, wherever you've been feeling a little bit off or a little out of integrity with yourself because you're coming from scarcity, test this out. Look at what you're afraid of. Look at your beliefs. Be willing to release those feelings and then shift into, if I were in this state of harmony, of non-resistance, if I were in this state of being a vibrational match to a win-win, how would that feel? And be in that state, be in that energy, and you're sort of just surrendering. You're surrendering in that moment, and that puts you in that state of non-resistance that we've talked about in the past, so that now that perfect solution can come into your reality. I hope this has been helpful, and we'll see you in another Mentor Minutes.